orange.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say orange.
Orange.
Green. Gray.
We are live, Barbara.
Oh my God. Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to your 1 hour mindset live stream. My name is Virginia. This is the 6th episode, by the way.
Oh, yes, it is number 6. And I'm Barbara. Thank you for tuning in today. We're really glad that you're here.
And as we're now in lockdown in the UK, we're focusing on skills that are actionable and practical so we can use it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're new to Mindset, welcome. And Virginia and I will be guiding you through today's session featuring our resident therapist, Daryl, who will join us later.
So if you've missed any previous episodes, you can go onto the campsite link on Body and Soul's Instagram. It's in the bio, and once you click in and you click Mindset, you'll find all the resources like the toolbox diaries, mind hack videos, and we also have Mindset Workout where I'll be doing the illustrations on how we can practice.
And if you've ever been in a situation where things weren't going as well as you thought they were, and maybe you got quite distressed, we're going to teach you a simple skill not to fall into that trap again, or to know how to get out of that trap if you have fallen in. So Daryl has made an appearance, everyone. Daryl is our resident therapist. He has been working here at Body and Soul for quite a while. He's very experienced in both the NHS and in private practice. He is an experienced therapist, expert supervisor, and trainer. Say hello to everyone, Daryl.
Hi, everybody. So as we do each week, we start with a mindfulness exercise, a mindfulness practice, and we try to make it a little bit different each week. So what we're going to do today is I want you to have a look at this box, and I want you to write down as many different things that you can that you think will fit in the box. So it's about half a shoebox size, right? But I want you to write it down using your non-dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, write it with your left hand. If you're left-handed, write it with your right hand. And what I want you to do really is I want you to notice where your attention is. Yeah. I want you to notice where you drift off, thinking about the past, worrying about the future. I want you to notice any judgments. And all you're going to do is keep bringing your attention back to writing with your left hand all the things that you can think of that would fit in the box. So we'll start and finish that with the sound of the bell. Okay, so I want you to, so I'm just going to give you some things to think. So what I want you to think about is, what did you notice happening to your attention when you were in the exercise? Where did you drift off to? People often, when we're thinking about the past, we're often feeling sad. When we're thinking about the future, we're anxious. So I want you to notice where you moved to. But so where your attention was, and then any judgments that you had. When we're doing mindfulness, what we're really trying to do is just practice not judging, but also accepting, you know. So if you think about it, isn't it? I mean, how much time do you spend writing with your non-dominant hand? So you can be aware of how much you judge yourself. You can be aware that that you know that you're judging yourself for things that you're not even practicing. And one of the things about judging ourselves is that this is probably the single biggest factor in us becoming emotionally dysregulated. So when we get emotionally dysregulated, we are judging others, we're judging ourselves, we're judging the situation, we're judging our emotions, we're judging something.
Ella asks, is there a reason as to why we are judgmental?
Well, we all need to judge stuff, right? We need to look when we're crossing the road to judge whether we can make it to the other side before you know, before the car hits us. So we all need to make judgments. Judgments keep us alive. But what happens is that there are different types of judgments, and some judgments are not helpful. I suppose judgments have become shorthand over time. So people have, you know, instead of saying, you know, please don't do that, you know, please don't do that, I don't like it. People say, stop doing that. You know, it's making me feel bad. So what's happened over time is that people have added reality. They've added their own interpretations to something, and that changes it. If you were to open your fridge and look inside your fridge, you might see a piece of fish in there, and you'd go, "Oh, that fish is bad." And that's a quick way of saying something. But what you're really saying when you say that fish is bad is you're saying that fish has got a strong smell, that the eyes are not shiny anymore, and if I eat it, I might get sick. So so people use judgments as shorthand for something, and it loses something when you add when you do that.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're gonna go on to this week's tool of the week, everyone. And to do that, we're gonna be looking at a really important skill called check the facts. Because when we are in emotion mind, we might find it really difficult to align our thoughts with the facts. So we're going to get a bit of help from Daryl here. And meanwhile, as we did last week, well, as she did last week, I did nothing. I just sat here and smiled. Virginia is going to be doing her fabulous live scribing. So back to you, Daryl, for our check the facts.
So in terms of regulating emotions, this is kind of one of the key skills for being able to regulate emotions. The problem with emotions is not so much the emotion itself. It's often the interpretation of the emotion that causes problems. So when we regulate emotions, there are or when we don't regulate emotions, there are things called interpretations. And interpretations are the things that we believe about something rather than actually the facts of it. So we can believe things about an event, like I was saying just now, that we can believe something is not fair. We can believe something about our thoughts, and we can believe things about our emotions. So, and we often react to our thoughts and our events and our emotions rather than the facts themselves. And what this does is, particularly when it's around thoughts and events, is this sets off sets of painful emotions. Yeah. For example, painful emotions about reality. So imagine if you believed that if you applied for benefits, that everyone got turned down. Everyone gets turned out. You can't get job seekers allowance for love nor money. Yeah. If you believe that, you might just never apply for it. Yeah. Whereas the truth of the situation is it might be that they turn down 70% of people. So when we want to change, say we have an emotion and it's an unwanted emotion, what the first thing we must do is check the facts about the emotion, check the facts about the emotion itself. So I'll give you an example. So a few years ago, I was running a group, and in the group there was a famous comedian, yeah, and famous enough that everybody knew who he was. And the group, it was a mixed group. And after the group one evening, I got a text message from one of the young girls in the group, and the text message said, after the group, I was walking to the station, and I needed to go to the toilet, and I went into the toilet. I shut the door, and guess who was staring at me while I was who was in the toilet staring at me while I was on the loo. And I read this text message, and I'm like, what, who? And then she said this guy's name, and I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I was furious. I was thinking, what was he what I was angry, I was scared, I was thinking, what's going to happen? What is this guy doing? Do I need to call the police? Do I need to do safeguarding reports? Do I need to is she okay? Do I need to contact her mum? And I was just running through this series, because also when I asked, my God, what happened, she didn't get back to me. So all of this stuff was going on. I was ringing up colleagues saying, oh my God, what would you do in a situation like this? Yeah. And so in between that, I was on my way home, and on my way home, I decided that that I would just phone the girl from the group, see if she was all right. So I phoned her up, and I said, oh my God, are you okay? What do we need to do? And stuff like that. And she's like, why are you even phoning me? And I'm saying, well, you sent me a text saying that you walked into a pub on the way home, you was on the loo, and look what's staring at you, and someone from the group was standing there staring at you. And she said, yeah, because as I closed the toilet door, there was a poster of the guy in the group, and his UK tour. So I was just saying, God, that was really funny. I was in a thing, and now I can see this guy, and now I can see this guy there. So can you see that my fear, my anxiety, my fear, my anxiety, and my anger were through the roof? But actually, once I checked the facts with her, none of those emotions were needed at all. So these and imagine if I'd have not checked the facts. Imagine if I'd have not phoned her up and checked this out. I'd have been calling the police. I would have reported this guy. Yeah. So knowing facts is essential for solving our problems, and particularly problems around emotions. So I'm sure that some of you have texted your boyfriends, girlfriends, partners, whatever, and they haven't, and they've not got back to you. And while you've done that, you have made, you've made all sorts of interpretations. Oh my God, the person, they don't like me anymore. They're cheating on me. They're doing this, that, and the other. And then you only find out later on that the person just left their phone in the car or somewhere else.
So Josie says, I think often I assume a partner is upset with me because they're replying to texts a little bluntly. 9 times out of 10, it's because they are upset. I was right, but they're not upset with me. It's about something else. It's impossible to know what's going on with someone else, and we tend to assume it's our fault.
Yes. So this is the danger of assumptions.
Poppy says, one time I received a text from my mom saying that my dad had been hit, and I panicked and assumed it was by a car. In actual fact, a Christmas tree had fallen on him, and my mom sent the text before finishing it.
Oh my God.
Oh
That's so scary.
And Olivia says, how are you supposed to check the facts if you know the person has a history of lying to you?
If someone's lied to you in the past, it doesn't mean they're lying to you at this moment. So sometimes what you can do is you could check the facts, but people do lie as well, right? So asking another person is not necessarily checking the facts. What checking the facts would involve is being able to see something through one of your senses. Yeah. So for example, I often say to my son, did you brush your teeth? And he'd say to me, yeah, I brushed them. And I'm like,
No.
are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I brushed them. So one of the ways that I can check that fact is I can smell his breath, can't I? So what Olivia is talking about is asking someone is not necessarily checking the facts. But what you can do is wait. Yeah. If you can't check the facts, you can wait. So which is what I had to do in the example I gave, isn't it? I had to wait for more information. So that's what I would say to Olivia. Gather more data.
We have one more
Okay.
question from Praveen. Suppose we have checked the fact and we came to know that the information is truth. Then how should we release the emotion?
If the emotion fits the facts, then what you'd be doing is you probably got a problem. You've got a problem to solve, haven't you? So say, for example, you check the facts and the emotion is anger, then you're after getting someone to stop or change, you're after stop or something to stop or change. So you use the emotion as the guide. Yeah. So when the emotion is justified, you got problem solving to do. So look, let me run through how to check the facts with people, and then we'll get some questions. So the first thing that you want to check the facts about, or how to check the facts, is check the facts on the emotion itself. Yeah. So if if you're feeling, if you're feeling envious, then you want to check the facts. Has someone else or a group of people got things that you don't have and that you want or need? Yeah. Or if you're feeling guilty, does your behavior violate your own moral code? Yeah. So you check the facts about the emotion. If you're feeling shamed, then are you in danger of being rejected by people? So that's the first thing. Check the facts about the emotion. Yeah. So if you did it with me, and the example I give, was my anger justified or not? Yeah. The next thing that you would do is you would check the facts about the event itself. Yeah. So what was the event that set this emotion off? Right. So if I think the event was someone stalking someone into a toilet and standing there hovering over them, yeah, it's very different to actually it was a poster in a toilet. Yeah. So I would check the facts about that. Make sure I understand the facts about the event. The next thing I would look at is what is it that I'm believing? What are my interpretations, thoughts, or what are my assumptions about the event? Yeah. So my assumption was about the event was this guy was going to do something terrible to this girl. Yeah. Because so that's what I was assuming. And assumptions, they increase the threat and they decrease our ability to regulate our emotions. So what I can do, or what I could have done as I was cycling home, is think of other possible interpretations of what was going on. Yeah. test, test it out somewhat. So so these are called benign interpretations. So you just give yourself other, well, actually, it could be this, it could be that, he could have been in the toilet before her, you would go back and forth and check it. The next one is about looking at like checking the facts about the threat. So this is in order, right? So the next thing I might do is I might assume like, what am I worrying about? Yeah. What is the probability that the threatening event will really occur? Yeah? And then the other thing about fact checking is looking at the catastrophe. Yeah. So if your boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't get back to you, how might you cope? How might you cope with the fact that they that they take ages to answer you? Or how might you cope with the idea that it's over? Yeah. And so, as well as doing all of those things, the other things that we want to look at when we're fact checking is not just the fact itself, but the intensity and the duration of it. So I'll give you a quick example, right? Is if I say I get onto the say I get on the tube and someone elbows me in the someone bumps into me and elbows me in the ribs. Yeah. My anger, it would be right for me. I could be annoyed at that, right? But would I be annoyed at it 100 out of 100? Yeah. Or is that just kind of too high? It's a packed train and people bump into people. Or I might want to check about how long. Yeah. So if someone elbows me on the tube, and I'm still thinking about it 2 years later, every time I get on the tube, the problem might be the duration, how long I've been thinking about it. So when we're checking facts, we're looking also at how likely is it that the outcome I expect will occur, how great or important is the outcome, and how effective it might be to act on this emotion, even if it was true. So I'm not sure about the timing, but so we also think about whether an emotion is whether it's effective to use an emotion or not. Yeah, because sometimes we want to let certain emotions go. So I'll give an example, right? Before I left the NHS, a few years before I left the NHS, I remember my boss was leaving, and he said to me, look, I'm retiring, and and I think you'd be the best person to take over my job. This was my manager. And I was like, great, I could do with the cash. And about, and he's like, I'm going to put your name forward for being, for doing the job. And before he left, there was this big meeting, and in the meeting, I came in late to the meeting, and he got really annoyed, and he sort of embarrassed me in front of everybody. He shouted, he's like, what time do you call this? I sent an email, and he embarrassed me and was really rude to me in this meeting. Yeah. And I was annoyed. So I have every right to tell him not to do that and to shout back at him because he's being unprofessional. So my anger is justified, but I might not want to do that, because if I do that, the consequence is that he might no longer put me forward for that job. So when I think about acting on an emotion, I have to think about, I can also think about, is it in my interests to do that? So if you went back to Olivia's question, is it in your long-term interests to assume that to assume someone you care about is lying to you? What is it effective really? Okay. So just to sum up, we check facts about events, we check facts about our thoughts, we check facts about our emotions. We look at whether our emotions are justified. We look at whether the intensity is too high. We look at the duration, and we just look at whether it's going to work for us in our interests or not. And I think in future weeks, what we'll do is we'll look at the other options when you've checked the facts and the emotion, and you want to go with the emotion. What else you can do? The reason it's hard to check the facts all the time is sometimes we don't have all of the facts. So when we don't have all of the facts, we want to be careful of our assumptions, because often what people do is they assume a fact and then they act like it. Yeah. So if you assume that, if you send a message to your partner and your partner doesn't respond because you believe they've fallen out of love with you, if you assume that fact, you might start sending them all kinds of messages.
Oh, Claire says, so as you said, it's about patience too.
Yeah, sometimes you've got to wait for the facts.
So when we need time to check the fact and the opposite person is trying to invite us to make a decision quickly, what would be the best call?
Ask them to wait till you have the facts.
So I wanted to ask you if you could give our viewers just maybe like 2 or 3 simple things. Like, what can they do most effectively to practice checking the facts between now and next week? Like, if you were to give them just maybe 1 or 2 things they could do.
I would check the facts about like their assumptions. What they could do is something could happen, right? And they could think, I don't know if people can see that circle there, right?
Yeah.
You could think, right, my boyfriend didn't get back to me on the phone. So it could be that, it could be that he hates me, or it could be that he's left his phone in the car. It could be that his batteries run out. It could be that he's busy. So every time you come up with a different interpretation, divide it up, right? And what it does is, you see that is one action, but if you divide it up like that, it takes the power out of it. It takes the power out of it. And if you take the power out of it, you've got a chance, or you take the emotion out of it, you've got a chance of being able to regulate it. So thinking about what else could it be? That would be my tip.
Oh, thank you, Daryl. Okay, right. Awesome. So that's it for this week's mindset.
And if you want to find all the resources for mindset, you can go to Body and Soul's Instagram, which is at Body and Soul Charity. And then we have a campsite link where you can find all the resources.
Yeah, it's just in the bio. Super easy to find. And remember that you can also send in any questions that you have during the week about emotions or the skills that we've covered to mindset@bodyandsoulcharity.org.
And importantly, we want to remind you that mindset is not for crisis support. So if you need any help, you find that you can't keep yourself safe, please don't hesitate to reach your well-being service. And also at your university, contact your crisis team, and go to the nearest A&E department if needed. And the Samaritans can be reached at 116-123.
Right, okay, so we hope that you will stay with us every week. Tune in again next week for some more fabulous skills for regulating your emotions. And in the meantime, keep working on your mindset.
See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.